Within the Doom universe, Hell has always had a major role to play with the downfall of mankind. The denizens of the Dark Realm come in all shapes and sizes, with each demon having an important part to play. In the recent games, we have come to know about the leadership of Hell, how demons are created, and now how everything first came to be within the Dark Realm. The Ancient Gods Part 1 tends to have a major focus on both Heaven and Hell, rather than the focus on the people of Argenta or Earth, which makes a lot of sense. How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a great day so far. In this video, I will be talking about everything we know about Hell and what it could mean for future Doom games. Before I get going, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and if you are new here and love Doom and similar content, be sure to subscribe and set up notifications if you enjoy what you see here. I'm going to be covering a lot of lore within the next several months, and if there are any topics that you would like to request, be sure to let me know down in the comment section or on the community page on the channel. Also, I just want to warn you all that there will be spoilers contained in this video if you haven't played the DLC quite yet. Alright, let's get going. The Doom games wouldn't be anything without the existence of Hell, and after each game was released, the Dark Realm became more complex and full of so much more lore in a good way. The Ancient Gods Part 1 allowed us to dig deeper into how Hell came to be, and that has always been a topic on my mind ever since I got into the lore of Doom. The Dark Realm didn't start out as a hellscape with tortured souls, fire, and brimstone, but was once a peaceful place and was one of the first worlds created by the Father. The Father is the creator of all things. He is ageless and formless, and with his logic and power, it gave birth to untold dimensions and worlds, giving rise to innumerable species and civilizations. Among the worlds he created, Jakad was one of them. It was a place superior to Urdak and was full of people who had burning ambition and no restraints. These people were free to do whatever they wanted, but yet they were still mortal. The Father wanted to have someone watch over these people, so he created Davoth, a primeval and one of the Father's first gods he created. Davoth had a love over his people and wanted what was best for them, but he knew none of that was possible until they could obtain immortality, no matter the cost. Since Davoth grew so much ambition, it disturbed the Father and prompted him to cut Jakad off from the other dimensions, so that Davoth could never threaten all of creation and challenge the Father. Consumed with fury and the thought of being cut off from his creator, Davoth bent Jakad to his will and brought darkness upon his world. The Pleasure Lakes became the Blood Swamps, the Palace of Groans grew over the Ardenite Gardens, and the gleaming walls of Emora became festered. It was at this point that Davoth became the Dark Lord, or rather the devil himself. The beginnings of Jakad are very similar to the teachings of Christianity, where Lucifer was cast out of heaven due to having the ambition to rule over all and give no one the ability of free will so that they could be perfect and return to live with God again. However, the differences between the two are that Davoth was given a world to rule over and had the ability to make the best out of it without challenging the Father. The Seraphs, who are angels and among the first creations and were on the right hand of the Father, spoke of a time when Jakad gloried in an age of unparalleled bounty and achievement at the dawn of Davoth's authority. Jakad must have been a wonderful place to live until, of course, their desire to obtain immortality consumed them and drove them into madness. Because of their unrestrained minds, the people of Jakad slipped into ruthlessness and obsession. Davoth's perfect realm would be sustained no matter the cost, for none in Jakad could accept failure or embrace pain. Davoth tightened his will to drive ever more resources to Jakad's greatest minds as they hunted the secret of everlasting life. He harshly punished deviation from this goal, for he was unrelenting in his quest to safeguard his people. This was something that the Father realized and did not want the same thing to happen to the earthly realm before creating it. So he decided to give mankind the ability to have pains and misfortunes so that they would treasure life, empathy, and peace. This is pretty much what was God's plan, which is to have us live imperfect lives and one day live with him again. The people of Jakad were not only mortal, but they were never given the opportunity to be immortal, much like those that lived within Urdak. Over time, Davoth grew more powerful and his hordes overthrew the deputies and lesser gods that the Father created and granted him a closer victory of achieving the power that he so desired. After consuming the lesser gods, Davoth became more powerful than the Father initially placed in him. The Father knew that he must do something to stop Davoth from ultimately obtaining the infinite power that was desired of the Dark Lord. So he commanded Samur to place his life sphere in the Luminarium in order to prevent the Dark Realm from defeating him and consuming all of Urdak. Before the Father followed through with that plan, he traveled to Hell and ripped out the life sphere from Davoth's chest and threw his lifeless body off of the Pyramid of the Lost, where the people of Jakad once worshipped the Father. A life sphere contains the memory, intelligence, will, and the essential nature of a being's consciousness. In other words, it would be considered a being's soul. The father then placed Davos' life sphere in the Tomb of Souls, which was atop of the Ingmor's Sanctum. This was a resting place of the ancient gods and served as a workshop for the father to create new worlds. The Ingmor's Sanctum was a holy place and was a fragment of Urdak itself. It is both sacred and protected ground that allowed the Seraphs to travel to and from other realms but could never step foot in Hell. After defeating Davoth, Samar pleaded with the Father to crush the Dark Lord's life sphere so that he would never be a threat to the Father and to all of creation. However, the Father loved Davoth and didn't want to destroy him as he was his creation. He decided to keep his life sphere in the Tomb of Souls and thought it would be better to keep Hell contained with the Dark Lord reduced to whispers. If the Dark Lord were ever to be resurrected into a physical form, only another primeval or something more powerful could slay him. Of course, if the Dark Lord is slayed in this manner, then he would no longer rule over Hell, and every demon found outside of the Dark Realm would die as they would lose their connection to the very reality the Father designed for them. Once the Dark Lord could no longer possess a physical body, he was still able to persuade many followers and appoint other rulers in Hell to command his forces of evil. Over time, the people of Jakad would become demons and live a life full of hate, agony, and the desire to produce pain on others. Within the Dark Realm, the denizens would have experimented and explored ways to create immortality, but in the end, only be able to consume other worlds and build up the forces of evil in the name of the Dark Lord. After the Father obtained order throughout the other realms, he commanded Samar to place his own life sphere within the Luminarium, where the Makers could still worship him and put a hold on creating new worlds. If for whatever reason his life sphere would perceive any rising danger from Hell, Samar would then be called to take the Father's life sphere to a place that none could find it. This place would of course be the Tomb of Souls in Hell atop of the Ingmor's Sanctum, as Samar did just that when the Khan Maker rose to power and struck a deal with the Dark Lord in order to create Argent Energy. Samar was considered a heretic for stealing the Father's life sphere from the Luminarium, preventing the Makers from being able to move on to another Khan Maker in succession. Before this was accomplished, the Doomslayer was blessed by Samar and the Divinity Machine, making him the destroyer that was prophesied, as well as a warrior king among the Sentinel people. The Doomslayer became immortal and would be the polar opposite of the Dark Lord. The Slayer would be the vision of hope, an avenging angel, and the only one capable of defeating the forces of the Dark Realm. One thing I think that is for certain is that the Father would not be considered completely omniscient, which is being able to see everything past, present, and future. If he were able to see into the future, he would then know that the Slayer would ultimately betray him and Samar in order to resurrect the Dark Lord and hopefully defeat him. The Father's main concern was that of Davoth and Jakad instead of a mortal being that he created to be the opposite of Davoth. The Father did, however, foresee the discovery of Argent Energy within our solar system and knew that humanity would need to have Samar be the head of the UAC in order for humanity to have a fighting chance against the Dark Realm. Of course, it's very possible that the Father knew that the only way to make things work out in the end and stop Hell completely would be to allow the Doomslayer to destroy his life sphere and resurrect the Dark Lord. Definitely something to take note of. Anyway, it'll be very interesting in what will happen in part 2 of the Ancient Gods. Will the Doomslayer be able to defeat the Dark Lord, or by resurrecting him only create more chaos? All in all, I am really excited to know more about the Dark Realm and possibly about the other Ancient Gods who might make an appearance.
The Dark Lord is the leader of Hell's armies, not a king, but a warrior of the Dark Realm. The fiercest among them, as only the strongest rule the demons. It is you, in their world.
The origin of Hell is a story that was much needed in the Doom universe. Like I've mentioned before, it has always been a topic of mine, and I'm glad id Software decided to talk more about the Dark Realm and its ruler. Part 2 of the Ancient Gods will no doubt be a challenging experience, but full of so much more lore. I was surprised at how much lore was contained in Part 1, and I am totally all for it. As time goes on, I will continue to create more videos about the lore and possible theories for part 2 of the Ancient Gods. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if so, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video so we can get it out there more. If you have any topics that you would like me to talk about, be sure to let me know down in the comment section. Also be sure to check out my social media accounts at RipNtear Gaming to see other things over there. Hope you all have a good one, fellow Slayers, and until next time, don't forget to rip and tear. Peace.